ಹಾಯ್ ಹಲೋ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಪುನರ್ವೇಜು ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ PUC ಕೇಳಲಾಗುವಂತಹ ಅಕೌಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು ಒಂದು ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಿಡ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅತಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅಂಕಗಳನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸಬಹುದು. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋವನ್ನು ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನಲ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನಲ್ಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಆಗಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಮೊದಲಿಗರಾಗಿ ನೋಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕಾನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಈಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್. ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟ್ರಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ and balance sheet. Trial balance, it includes both debit and credit balances. Balance sheet, it includes both assets and liabilities. Trial balance, it includes opening stock value. Balance sheet, it includes closing stock value. And then trial balance sheet, it shows the summary of ledger balances. Balance sheet, it shows the summary of finance positions. And then second question, difference between journal and ledger. Difference between journal and ledger. Journal, it is the subsidiary book. Ledger, it is the final book of account. Journal, the book of prime or original entry book. Ledger, the book of second entry and statement of account. Journal, it does not have any side. Ledger, it has two sides like debit and credit side. And third question, difference between assets and liabilities. Assets, it provides a future economic benefit. Liabilities, it present a future obligation. Next, assets, it gets depreciation. Liabilities, it doesn't get depreciation. And third point, assets, it have fixed values and fluctuating values. Liabilities, here interest is charged. Fourth question, difference between real account and nominal account. Real account, it consider assets and properties. Nominal account, it consider incomes and expenses. Real account, it include long-term transactions. Nominal account, it includes short-term transactions. Real account, example building, land, furniture. Nominal account के examples salary, rent, discount. Next, fifth question, difference between cash transactions and credit transactions. Difference between card transaction and credit transactions. Cash transactions, here the payment is settled immediately, but credit transactions, here the payment is settled at a later date. Cash transaction, there is no interest charged, but credit transactions, the interest is charged at a fixed percentage. Cash transaction, it is done between buyer and seller. Credit transactions, it is done between debitors and creditors. And sixth question, difference between fixed assets and floating assets. Fixed assets, it has specific values. Floating assets, it doesn't have specific values. Fixed assets, it is used for long-term finance. Floating assets, it is used for short-term finance. Next, third point, fixed assets, it have depreciation values. Floating assets, there is no depreciation is charged. And seventh question, difference between double entry and single entry system. Single entry system, it is easy to ascertain and low cost. Double entry system, it have procedure to ascertain and high cost. Single entry system, it is applicable to sole trade concerns. Double entry system, it is applicable to all business concerns. Single entry system, here difficult to find error. Double entry system, here easy to find error. Difference between receipts and payments account and income and expenditure account. Receipts and payments account, it is a real account. Income and expenditure account, it is nominal account. Receipts and payments account, it doesn't include non-cash items. Income and expenditure account, it includes non-cash items. Receipts and payments account, it is the summary of cash book. Income and expenditure account, it is the summary of profit and loss account. And next question, difference between outstanding and prepaid expenses. Difference between outstanding and prepaid expenses. Outstanding expenses, it is the due amount on expenses. Prepaid expenses, it is the advanced amount on expenses. Outstanding expenses, it should be added. Prepaid expenses, it should be deducted. Outstanding expenses, it is shown under liabilities head in balance sheet. Prepaid expenses, it is shown under assets head in balance sheet. Difference between capital receipts and revenue receipts. Capital receipts, it is the long term incomes. Revenue receipts, it is the short term incomes. Capital receipts, it is shown in balance sheet. Revenue receipts, it is shown in profit and loss account. Capital receipts, non-recurring items. Revenue receipts, recurring items. And next question, difference between capital expenses and revenue expenses. Capital expenses, it is incurred on long-term finance. Revenue expenses, it is incurred on short-term finance. Capital expenses, it is an asset account. Revenue expenses, it is an expenses account. Capital expenses, it is a non-recurring item. Revenue expenses, it is recurring item. Next, 12th, difference between provisions and reserves. Provisions, it is arise from known liability. Reserve, to retain some money from the profit for future use. Provisions, it cannot be used to pay off dividends. Reserve, it can be used to pay off dividends. Provisions, known liabilities and anticipated losses. Reserve, increase in capital employed. ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕೌಂಟೆನ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಥಮ PUC ಅಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ PUC ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.